funny thing I've learned about the winter meetings over the years is that a lot of stuff happens really, really, really late at night. Why? Because that's where the executives have found at least a little bit of free time during their day to, actually talk to each other. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Yes, the Pirates made a move. Yes, it involved acquiring a first baseman. And from there, it's really nothing but question marks, if I'm being honest with you here. They acquired Spencer Horwitz. He's a first baseman who's also had some time at second base and other positions, but he's principally seen as a first baseman in a trade that sent one major league player and two prospects to the Guardians. The major league player is Luis Ortiz, which is a significant thing, I think, to give up. And the two prospects were predictably also pitchers, since they don't really have hitting prospects. Those were Michael Kennedy and Josh Hartle, who were in the teens of where you would be ranking the Pirates prospects within their own organization. Now, Horwitz played for the Blue Jays. He's actually been in the Blue Jays system for quite a while. And this past season, in 97 games for Toronto, he slashed .265, .357, .433. He had 12 home runs, 40 RBIs. And even though he's 27 years old, he just turned 27 last month, he was considered a rookie, and he finished first among all qualified major league rookies in on-base percentage, fourth in OPS at .790, sixth in batting average, eighth in slugging percentage. You see what I mean, though? Like, if you're just hearing about this trade from this podcast, and you're just hearing this data and this background and these numbers, I've already thrown you back and forth probably about 6 times, right? Where you go, oh, that's good. Oh, wait, that's not. Oh, that's really good. Oh, wait, that's really not. And you're just not going to know. You're not going to know. The guy who might know as well as anybody is Matt Haig, the former Pirates minor league hitter who has just become their hitting coach, replacing Andy Haynes. He was, of course, a hitting guy in the Blue Jays organization, so he worked directly with Horwitz, and Horwitz has some advanced metrics that are possibly of interest, because it's one thing to hit, it's another thing to, really hit. And Horwitz has a squared up rate of 27.3%. That puts him in the 72nd percentile. That's good stuff. A whiff rate of 19.4%, which also has him in the 79th percentile. That means, how often he's striking out. And he's also got a pretty nice walk rate of 11%. So there's a lot of different components to it that would make you think that he's a pretty good hitter. The Pirates did put out a statement. This was close to midnight last night from Ben Cherington. I'm going to read you the statement in full. He says, quote, Spencer has been a consistently strong offensive performer throughout his pro career, including his first extended major league experience this season. As a left-handed hitting first baseman with on-base skill, we believe he's a strong fit for our lineup and team. All right. Let's take a little bit of a break here, all right? From all the information and everything else, because this is now starting to feel like it's a newscast or whatever. When you hear Cherington say we believe he's a fit for our lineup and for our team, Cherington's telling you this is the first baseman. We just got the first baseman. And he's also, parentheses here, kind of tacitly telling you that all that Brian Reynolds stuff we were talking about this week, forget about that. Forget about that. You're not going and getting a first baseman, saying you got a first baseman, and then telling your best player he's got to go move to first base. So what you have is a first baseman who clearly has some skill, also has very limited time in the majors, and didn't arrive into the majors until he was 26 plus years old. Now, what I hear on the good side is, okay, late bloomer. What I hear on the bad side is, what took so long, and how do we know that what you did as a rookie even counts? Because the big leagues have yet had an opportunity to expose you, to find your flaws. Those aren't going to get found out in the minors. They're just not. If any fan base across the majors should be aware of that, it's this one, because we have seen our share of 4A gods, hitting gods, who've just owned Indianapolis and get up here and look like they've never held a bat in their lives. Now, in continuing this theme of analysis, this seesaw theme, you've also got somebody who has 6 years of their rights controlled. Now, I'm still getting over the Brian De La Cruz celebration that the Pirates held his rights for 3 more years, only to send him packing after 3 months. So I don't know how far to take that, but I do know that he comes cheap, which here again can be good and bad. It can be good in the sense that it would leave all kinds of money for other needs, or it can be bad in that it can be used as an excuse all the way up to ownership to not spend up to $100 million in payroll. Where the Oakland A's, wait, did I call them the Oakland A's? Actually, they're not even the Sacramento A's. They're just the A's. They just want to be called the Athletics now. Where even the Athletics will be in 2025. They're going to be at $100 million. So if you're one of those people that gets really happy when the Pirates save money, remember what you're being happy about. I don't know. I have a mixed feel here on so many fronts. The only area in which I really don't have a feel or even a viewpoint is the trade itself. I'm not worried about the exchange. Okay. I don't like losing Luis. You guys, if you've been listening to me for a while, know how I feel about Luis. I think a lot of him as a pitcher. I think a lot of him as a person. He'll be missed in both ways, I'm sure. But I've also long felt and expressed on this program that he was underappreciated by Derek Shelton and the on-field staff, and I really hope that he embraces this opportunity that he's going to have with a much better team in Cleveland. But the rest of it, the exchange, the prospects and stuff, listen, the Pirates need to get a first baseman and corner outfield help. Oh, and by the way, bullpen help. And that's got to be the priority, especially for the 2 guys whose jobs are tethered together as being on the line, meaning, of course, Cherington and Shelton. Maybe the best part of this is that they didn't trade one of their better pitching prospects. And maybe even within that, the best part of this is that they wouldn't have been allowed to, which is what I'm really hoping for. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Abandon ship, Bob. Sell the team. Are you a Pirates fan who is angry or apathetic about our perennial losing baseball team? Do you feel helpless because you don't know how to make a difference? Well, good news. We have something you can do about it. Join our Sell the Team movement. We're a group of passionate fans voicing our frustration and demanding change through billboard campaigns, press outreach, protests, and involvement at local city government meetings. Go to ourteamnothis.com to get involved.
Today's J1Q comes from my man Milo, who says, I always get nervous when a GM feels the heat from above and subsequently gets desperate. It's like with Pete Peterson in the mid-'80s. It resulted in Steve Kemp Sixto Lizcano and George Hendrick. You forgot the jogging reference to jogging George Hendrick. Or Dave Littlefield with Matt Morris. Or Neil Huntington's disastrous Chris Archer deal. We're at that point with Ben Cherington. Will he panic and make a bad trade involving a young pitcher? You know, I almost feel like in recent episodes, when I'm talking about Cherington or the front office or Derek Shelton or whoever, that no matter what I say, it's going to be taken in the context of, oh yeah, this is the guy that's been calling for their firing for several months now. And while I'm okay with that, I don't want you to think that every time I say something negative about them, that it's some sort of piling on. So when you've heard me stating of late, I don't want to see Cherington allowed some sort of carte blanche to trade the young pitching. It's not because, well, if he trades the young pitching and he brings in a good hitter, they'll be successful and they'll keep their jobs or something like that. I'm not really into that sort of thing. The reason that I'm saying is this what you're bringing up, Milo? We've been there. We've lived it multiple times if you've been following this franchise for as long as you clearly have. And nothing could be worse, I think, than to have this GM and this GM's staff that cannot recognize hitting talent to save their lives be the ones who are sending out. And it doesn't have to be a Bubba Chandler. It can be Braxton Ashcraft. It can be Thomas Harrington. It can be one of the guys that are a little bit lower on that hierarchy of pitching prospects. I don't want him to move any of them, not without some sort of tacit approval. Now, even that is a little bit scary because I don't want Bob Nutting making my baseball judgments. I don't want Travis Williams making my baseball judgments. And that's one of about a billion reasons why it was a bad idea to keep these guys in the first place. You needed right now a fresh start. You needed right now a fresh set of eyes. You needed someone to be able to come in and properly evaluate the pitching talent that you've got. John Sherholtz, the legendary Atlanta general manager who led the Braves to a decade and a half of making the playoffs back when that used to be a lot harder than it is now, once famously spoke that the most important talent that you have to evaluate as a GM is your own. You can't mess up on those. You can't mess up on the guys that are under your own roof. You can't send Jose Bautista out the door for a third string catcher. You can't do it. It's a fatal blow to your entire system and process and everything. I don't trust the people running baseball ops all the way up to Cherington to make moves like this. And I don't think they should be allowed to make them. Meaning, period. You can make other types of moves. You can't trade young pitching out. I think that's a fair thing to tell them as long as you're already misguided enough to have kept them. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll do another one of these tomorrow.